up, everybody? How's it going? Thank you for tuning in to episode 74 of Who Gives a Dram. I'm your host, Connor Gilbert, and I appreciate you checking out the podcast and coming back for another whiskey review this week. We are going to be tackling the bottle that was unable to be opened last week. Bookers Bardstown Batch is on the docket for today. Bookers Bardstown Batch. If you watched last week's episode, or if you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen that the cork broke when I tried to do a cork pop on the podcast last week. So I couldn't do it. I had to improvise. I had to open up my tag-along batch and review that instead, which I was surprisingly very pleased with. I rated it 8.9, so that was really surprising and ended up being a good episode. But I wanted to do the Bardstown Batch because I remember not liking it at Thanksgiving time when I bought it, so we're doing it this week. We'll do it live. A little bit of business before we get into the show or we get into the review. This podcast is brought to you by The Grapevine Media, www.thegrapevinemedia.com to check out all of our content over there. Actually just recorded today. The new trailer for Stranger Things season 4 came out, so I cleared my schedule for about an hour today and was able to get in a live, or not a live, but a reaction video like 2 or 3 hours after the trailer dropped. So that's going to be coming out on Popcorn Pillow Talk. If not tonight, tomorrow, live trailer reaction to Stranger Things season 4. I love Stranger Things. So make sure you're following us over there. Grapevine Media, www.thegrapevinemedia.com. I feel like I say that all the time. And also, if you're listening to this, make sure you're subscribed wherever you're listening to it, and make sure you're following me on all the social medias. That helps as well. But yeah, that's it for business. I don't want to. I got quite a bit to do. It's been a busy day. It's been a busy 2 days. You know, this is Tuesday when I'm recording it. So when I'm recording this episode, it's been a pretty busy few days. So I want to just have a nice mellow corn episode. If you guys know what I'm talking about, nice mellow corn episode. That's all we need. And get through this review, get this whiskey reviewed. Next week, I am going to Kentucky. I will be in Lexington or Versailles for the Kentucky Bourbon Ball. So that's happening April 23rd at the Kentucky Castle, which I'm excited about, man. That's going to be fun. I had to bring I'm debating what suit I want to wear for the actual event. It's nothing like super, super formal, but it's also not. It's like kind of like business casual, I guess, is how I think it's going to be. So I wanted to wear the suit I have, but the pants have gotten a little tight, and I brought them to Nana, and basically they're not tight around my waist, they're tight around my legs. And the reason they're tight around my legs is because I squat heavy and I squat deep. And that's how I live my life. I squat heavy and I squat deep. Those motorcycles that just went by my apartment aren't going to ruin that for me. I squat heavy and I squat deep. Ass to grass. Always. So don't test me on that. If you're going to try to squat with me, I kiss the ground with my butt. Just put it that way. I've always been an ass to grass squatter. That's how I always have squatted. So my legs are ginormous. It looks like I have 2 teardrops. You know, it looks like my left leg and my right leg are crying because there's just teardrops. My hammies are ridiculous. And I don't even want to talk about my quads. And if you see me in person, you know I'm working with a wagon. So oh man. Anyways, I what the fuck was I even talking about? Oh, my pants are tight on my legs, so there's really no way to fix that. You can take the waist out a little bit, but these pants are already tailored to me. I got them tailored when I was younger, so it's like it's hard to like adjust an already tailored pair of pants if it's not the waist. So I think I'm gonna go with my backup suit just because I don't I just don't feel like getting another pair of pants, and now it's kind of cutting it close. I thought I wasn't gonna run into this issue, but that's all good. It's all good. It's all good. I'm flying out of Boston on Friday, and I was gonna have to drive up at 5 a.m. to get to the airport. My flight was at 9:30, so I'd have to get there like 7:30ish. Leave here at like 5:30. Didn't want to do that, so I ended up getting a hotel room Thursday night. So I'm gonna go up to Boston after work on Thursday, spend the night there, and then just shuttle over to the airport once Friday comes around, Friday morning. So if you're in Boston next Thursday night, let me know. I'll be around, and yeah, I won't be doing nothing. I'll just probably be drinking whiskey. So let me know if you're in Boston. I'll try to see if we can link up or something. But that's next week. That's something we can talk about next week more. This week we have a whiskey to review. This week we have a UFC event to recap. And all transparency, I recorded like 10 minutes of this episode already, but a motorcycle, like the loudest motorcycle I've ever heard in my entire life, parked right outside my studio here, because the window's right there and the road's right there. So parked right outside, and my bottles were literally starting to shake like an earthquake was coming. I actually almost got underneath my table here because I thought we were having an earthquake in Rhode Island. That's how loud it was. So I stopped, dropped, and rolled, and I ate my vitamins and I said my prayers, and then it ended up going away. But it was outside my window for like 5 minutes. It wasn't like it wasn't a pass by. So I was just like, you know what, screw it. I'm just gonna start the episode over. So didn't miss much. Though there was not much going on. There's still not much going on in my head right now. I really want to drink whiskey. I got sneaky hammered last night, so this would be Monday night. I wanted a glass of whiskey, so I poured one, and I started the show Lucifer on Netflix. And little do I know, I look down on my phone, and I'm 4 glasses of whiskey deep, and it's 1:30 in the morning. And I am just hammered, like not blackout or nothing, but I'm drunk. Like I'm drunk. 4 glasses of whiskey. So that was interesting. That was last night, and I didn't wake up with a hangover or nothing, so that's good. But I'm a little tired. So my brain's not functioning at its highest capacity right now. It's definitely not functioning at its highest capacity, but we're gonna fight through it, as we always do, and get this review out into the open for the people to listen to, for the millions of you that are listening to this right now. So yeah, this was last week's bourbon. So that's also why I already have whiskey in my glass, is because I've already done the cork pop in the first time I tried to do this episode. But anyways, we'll do another one. It was terrible the first time as well. This is by the way, this is the cap from my granny's batch bottle that I killed actually on the podcast here. So shout out if you've been listening all the way since back then. That was probably like a year ago. Just about a year ago, probably, we did that episode. I killed Granny's batch live on the show, and I kept the bottle. And I'm glad I did, because now I have a backup cap. So we're doing the unopenable bottle this week. We're gonna redo it. I've got the little card here that tells the batch story. I already read it on the first time I tried doing this episode, and it's just boring. I don't want to read it. It's batch 2021-03. So it's the third barrel proof batch from last year, the third out of 4. So that's what we're reviewing. That's what we're going to review. I bought this around Thanksgiving last year, and I remember not liking it. So last week's tag-along batch pleasantly surprised me. I was blown away, actually. So I have hope for this. I'm not completely writing it off, but I do remember not liking it. But that's okay. Not every whiskey needs to be liked. Every whiskey just needs to be enjoyed. and I will enjoy this whether I like it or don't. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. We had a UFC event this weekend on Saturday, the longest UFC pay-per-view of all time. Every fight went to a decision. And most of my picks were wrong. Well, my big one was wrong. I was most confident in Peter Yan defeating Aljamain Sterling, and that obviously did not happen. Aljamain Sterling beat Peter Yan by split decision, I believe. Let me see. I got it pulled up here. Pretty sure it was split decision. Yep, nope, don't have that. I don't want to... Here we go. Yep, Aljamain Sterling beats Peter Yan by... These ads are terrible. It doesn't say how he won. Great. All right. Well, anyways, he won by decision. I'm pretty sure it was split decision. Anyways, I thought Peter Yan was a mortal lock on this fight, simply going off of last fight, the last time they fought, and I was completely wrong. Aljamain Sterling had two dominant rounds number 2 and 3. Peter Yan won round 4 and round 5. It was all up to round 1, and it was kind of 50-50. I think more people thought that Peter Yan won the first round than Aljamain Sterling. But nonetheless, two of the judges gave it to Aljamain, and you can't really argue it. I, at the time, thought it was a bad decision. I still don't think it's the best decision, but it is what it is. I'm kind of happy for Aljamain because everybody wrote him off, and no one thought he was the real champ, including myself. Now, we all have to shut up. We don't have a choice. So that was a good fight. Aljamain Sterling's probably going to fight TJ Dillashaw next, and I'm looking forward to that fight. I don't see a way Aljamain Sterling wins that fight, honestly. I really don't. TJ Dillashaw is probably going to win that fight. If I would put money on it right now, I bet you TJ Dillashaw opens as a favorite and stays a favorite the entire way up until the fight. Something about Aljo, man, you just don't have confidence in him. He's been knocked out. He's lost only a few times, but you've seen it in the UFC. So it just kind of, and so is TJ Dillashaw, but TJ Dillashaw is also just a stud, even though he's on steroids. But Khamzat defeated Gilbert Burns by unanimous decision. That was an interesting fight. I predicted that Khamzat was going to steamroll through Gilbert Burns in round 1, where it ended up being a unanimous decision, where Khamzat actually lost the second round, I think on all 3 judges' scorecards. I think it was a 29-28 unanimous decision. So that was crazy that Khamzat and Gilbert Burns had this all-time classic slug war of a fight. But the problem is Khamzat's going to fight Colby Covington now. And honestly, it's probably a good matchup for Khamzat because he's just so much bigger than Colby Covington. Colby Covington he's not going to just wrestle Khamzat to death. Khamzat's a stud wrestler. Colby Covington's not going to do what he did to Jorge Masvidal. So I'm thinking that Khamzat's going to open as a favorite on that fight as well. But I'm not very confident. I'm not the most confident in Khamzat anymore, simply because of what we saw last week or this past weekend. It was just I don't even put it. It was a very back and forth performance. Like, Khamzat was eating a lot of punches. It looks like he was getting a little tired. It didn't really look like he had a game plan. Gilbert Burns is a stud. He's the number 2 welterweight in the world. Well-deserved. He knocked Usman down. I mean, he really gave Usman a run for his money when they fought. He dominated Stephen Thompson. I mean, just a very interesting matchup that kind of played out the exact opposite that I thought it was going to. But I'm happy because it made for a all-time fight, an all-time fight. So Yeah, Kamzat versus Kobe Covington is probably coming up next. I'm pretty excited about that. Finally, with our main event, which I actually didn't even watch live because by the time the main event came around, it was like 12:30, almost 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. I bounced. I didn't want to watch it because I knew what was going to happen, and I was correct. Alexander Volkanovski absolutely mollywopped the Korean Zombie, Chan Sung Jung, and for fourth round TKO. Which probably could have been stopped in the third round and maybe even the second round. I mean, Volkanovski just put the pedal to the metal. Put the pedal to the metal. Sorry about that. I'm fucking tired. Shit. Yeah, so Volkanovski, he just dominated. He just dominated Korean Zombie. It wasn't even close. So I don't have a lot to say about this card. I mean, it was a good card. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was fun to watch. It was really fun watching Kamzat live. I was really looking forward to the Peter Yan Aljamain Sterling fight. Nonetheless, all decisions, not many finishes, made for a long night. I was super tired, and there's that. So that was UFC 273. I don't even know who's fighting this weekend. See if I can find it out real quick. I honestly don't. I have no idea who is fighting this weekend. Is it on my calendar? I think it is. Yeah, it should be. Who's fighting? It is. Okay. Luque versus Muhammad too. Okay, that's actually gonna be a good fight. Vicente Luque versus Bilal Muhammad. That's going to be a good fight. I will tune into that fight. I am picking probably Bilal Muhammad in that fight. Although I love Luque. Luque is very much a kind of like a tougher Stephen Thompson. Like he's a point fighter a little bit, but he's not afraid to brawl. But Bilal Muhammad is just, I mean, we saw what he did to Tony Ferguson. Just mollywopped him. Just wrestle fucks him. So that's probably what's going to happen. I'm taking Bilal Muhammad by unanimous decision in that fight. That's my prediction for this weekend, and we'll talk about it next week. Also this weekend is, and I completely forgot about it, is Easter Sunday. Easter's this weekend. So I have Friday off from work. Forgot about it. I completely forgot about it. Didn't even realize Easter was this weekend, but that's fun. I love Easter. And, no. I'm sorry. I don't love Easter. What the fuck? Like, I've never been religious, not to say, I don't support it or anything like that, but Easter's never meant anything to me. I've actually, to be honest, out of the major holidays, Easter's my least favorite because I'm a night owl. I like to go out, at night. I like it when it's dark out. That's just what I like. Easter's always during the day, and it's like bright and green and pink and yellow, and those are the colors, and I just don't like it. I like darker tones. That's why I like Zack Snyder movies, because it's always gray hues and just darkness. That's why I like the fall. That's why I like Halloween. That's why I like when it gets darker early. I'm one of those guys. I like when it gets dark early outside. All this bullshit where it's light out till 8 o'clock, I don't want that. Don't give that to me. If it's saying light out till 8 o'clock, I'm not happy. I want it to be dark at 6. That's when it should get dark. Because 5 o'clock is still the afternoon. 9 to 5 is still the afternoon, right? That's the end of the workday for a lot of people. It should still be a little bright outside. But when 6 o'clock hits, it's nighttime. I don't care what anyone says. 6 o'clock hits, it's night. And don't come at me with, oh, well, if it's lighter outside, you have more energy during the, to get stuff done later. You have the same amount of energy if it's dark outside or not. You just get lazy. Now, I'm the same way. I get lazy too. I'm not saying that I don't. So don't come at my neck for calling you lazy, because I'm also calling myself lazy. But it's better when it gets dark out earlier because I don't even have a reason. I just like it. It reminds me of my personal favorite time of the year, which is the back half. The last quarter, Q4 in corporate terms. I like Q4 the best. September, October, November, December. So, yeah, that's just what I like. I like when it gets dark late or early. I like when it gets dark early. 6 o'clock is nighttime, so that's when it should be getting dark all the time. I'm not sure what the sun and the rotation and the Earth's orbit, I don't know what they're thinking, but 6 o'clock, it needs to be dark all the time. If I was president, I'd make that a law. 6 o'clock, it needs to be dark. But yeah, that's why I don't like Easter. Just because it's bright and it's colorful and it means like spring's here, and I don't like spring. Never liked spring, except for baseball. I just don't, I don't know. I know I'm in the minority with that, so don't come on my neck, but it's all good. You can come on my neck if you want to. I won't mind. How far along this freaking podcast are we? 20 minutes. Okay. Let's talk about, there's a new High West product coming out that I got to go on Instagram in order to look at this. There's a new High West product, and it is called, is it going to stay? Pause. There we go. It is called High West, the Prisoner's Share. Now, I'm a High West slut. If there's one brand that I will hunt for, it's High West. And Midwinter Night's Dram is, that's pretty well known. That's one of my favorite pours. I've done it a few times on the show. It was the first whiskey that I reviewed on Who Gives a Dram, which is wild. You would think it'd be like Jack Daniels or something like that. It was a Midwinter Night's Dram by High West Distillery was the first whiskey I reviewed on the show, and it's just it holds a place in my heart. So I love the American Prairie Bourbon. I think it's fantastic. Their rye offering I enjoy. I've only had it once or twice. The Boo Rye, I have had once. I enjoy it. I've never had a High West product that I don't like. Campfire, we've done that on the show. That's one of the more interesting whiskeys out there, in general. So I just love High West. I love the vibe that it gives. I love the juice. I love the bottles. It's just a great brand, and it reminds me a lot of Smoke Wagon. Honestly, Smoke Wagon's on that same level where it's like such good juice, such a good brand. The marketing is great, the bottles are great. Obviously, we had Aaron on Bourbon with Friends, so I know him, and he's such a cool guy. If you're in the whiskey community, you know who Aaron is, and I'm sure you've had an interaction with him. He's just such a fucking cool guy. So. But I always have a soft spot for High West, and they're coming out with the Prisoner's Share. I don't know when. I saw this on Instagram, and basically what it is, it's going to be a blend of straight whiskeys, both rye and bourbon, finished in the Prisoner Red Blend wine barrels, bottled at 51% alcohol by volume. I have the label here, and it says the act of painting is about one heart telling another heart where he found salvation, a quote from Francisco Goya. And it reads, a distinctive blend of aged straight rye and straight bourbon whiskeys finished in the Prisoner Red Blend wine barrels to highlight the sophisticated notes of raspberry jam, toasted mahogany. I have many leather-bound books in my apartment. Smells of rich mahogany. Creme brulee, black pepper, cherry cola, and French oak spice character. Decadent, indulgent, unforgettable. I'm sold. Give me this in my mouth now. I want it. I want it all. That's what I want. This is what I want. I want this bottle. I want to hunt for this bottle. I want to pay all the money for this bottle. And I want to review it on the show. And I just want to be happy. I need this bottle. I need it in my life. So when I saw this, I was obviously very intrigued. I was very excited. And now I have to spend more money on whiskey. But I'm not that upset about it. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know what this is going to go for, but it's probably going to go for, if I had to guess, around $100. Whatever, okay? It's all good. But I can't wait for this to come out. I hope it's this year. Again, I don't know when. High West, if you guys are listening to this and you want to some samples my way. I'll do it on Who Gives a Dram. We'll do it on Bourbon with Friends. If you want to send us a sample, send us a bottle, let us know. We will review it. I will review it. And I'm not the biggest fan of Prisoner Red Blend, but I love red blends in general. I'm a big Cab guy. Love my Cabernet Sauvignon. And I love my red blends. So this is good. I mean, red blends, Cigar Box is a good one. What's the one that's actually aged for bit in bourbon barrels that I actually like? I forgot. But anyways, I like reds more than whites when it comes to wine. So this intrigues me. High West, red, finished in red blend wine barrels. Raspberry jam, toasted mahogany, creme brulee, black pepper, cherry cola. Put it in my mouth. All right, but that's going to be in the future. That's going to be in the future. This is the part of the episode where we're actually going to get into the whiskey in front of us. Bookers Batch 2021-03, Bardstown Batch. The unopenable bottle from last year is finally opened. This particular bottle is bottled at 62.75% alcohol ABV. Don't know why I couldn't say that. It is, which translates to 125.5 proof. It is aged 6 years, 5 months, and 0 days. Don't know why they had to signify 0 days, but that's the thing with Bookers. They get very technical. If you read their little cards that come in the box here, it gets very technical. They tell you exactly what percentage of what comes from what floor in what rack house. So, I mean, it's just almost like a little too, like, come on, man. Like, you don't have to give us all that information, you know? We know it's good stuff. We know it's quality. We believe you, all right? We believe you. And, again, I bought this bottle for $79.99. It's the only reason I bought it was because I knew that was a really good price, and I probably wouldn't find it for that cheap ever. Matter of fact, the place where I bought this has recently upped their Booker's price by $10. Now they're all $89.99 instead of $79.99. And I've seen this in the wild, at other liquor stores for as much as like $150. So pretty solid fluctuation there, but I got it for a good price. I wanted it. I bought it. I had it on Thanksgiving, and I didn't like it. So this has been sitting in the Glencairn now for, maybe 20 minutes. So it's had plenty of time to air out. I can already kind of smell it. Let's see what we go. Let's see what we got here. Let's give it a nose. Yeah, that's got it's the very oaky. Very oaky. That is more like the characteristics of a Booker's bourbon. Peanuts on this one. Not as much as the Granny's batch. This definitely has a peanut-y nose to it, though. Little caramel. Get some grape. At first I got green apple, but now I don't. A little bit of like burnt brown sugar. A little bit of caramel, I get grape in there. It doesn't smell like a dark fruit. It smells like a darker light fruit, like a grape. Maybe raisins. It's the transition from the grape to the raisin. That's what I'm smelling. Warm baked multigrain bread. I was hanging out with Kale the other night. We're sniffing a new whiskey. I'm like, "What do you get?" And he asked me what I get, and I tell him, and I go, "What do you get?" And he goes, "Warm baked multigrain bread." Classic throwback to a classic moment on Who Gives a Dram history. Yeah, the nose isn't bad on this. It's not particularly my favorite. It's not as peanutty as what I associate Booker's and Jim Beam with in general, but it's got a charred oak. It's definitely got like a wood chip smell to it. It's for sure got a darker presence than the tag along batch. This is grapes or raisins, however you want to put it, mixed with some burnt sugar, brown sugar. And it's kind of like if you toasted a brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tart and put like some grape jelly on it without sugar in it, though, just like mushed up grapes or even like raisins. It's like this is a brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tart toasted, obviously. If you don't toast Pop-Tarts, you're insane. With raisins on it. And then you throw it in like you just throw it in like a pile of wood chips for like, I don't know, 15 minutes. But you don't eat it with the wood chips on. You just kind of or maybe like an hour. So it really soaks up the smell of the wood chips, of the fresh wood chips. Almost like mulch. I don't get mulch on the nose here, but you get what I'm saying. It does have more of a wood smell. But I do get some of those, like, there's a little bit of a lighter aspect on there, too. Not much, but it's there. A little bit of, like a brighter, I got, like, an appleiness to it. Not nothing major, but definitely there. It's good. It doesn't smell bad. It doesn't smell as bad as I thought it was going to smell, but we have to taste it. Because the last time I tasted this, and I think it's just because I took too big of a gulp, I gagged. And that's not saying this is a bad whiskey. I'm just saying that's what happened. So hopefully that doesn't happen now. Cheers, everybody. Episode 74, Who Gives a Dram? Bookers Bardstown Batch. Let's see what we think. First sip of whiskey of the day always goes down hot. And it doesn't help that this is fucking barrel proof. It stays in your... It's got a big finish. I got a lot of wood on this. Just like... I guess charred oak, but it's almost like more potent. Like a wood chip. I don't get a lot of peanuts, though. It's definitely more wood and oak than like that peanut brittle or peanuts. I gotta take another sip of that. Ooh, on the second one. Yeah. A bit more peanutty. Chocolate. Tastes like peanut butter and Nutella a little bit. I'm not a Nutella guy, by the way. I don't put Nutella on anything. I don't eat Nutella. If I'm gonna spread something, it's gonna be peanut butter. It's not gonna be Nutella. I'm the type of guy. This makes my mouth salivate. Jesus. I'm the type of guy where I could just eat peanut butter out of the jar and just I could have like half of it in a sitting if I was hungry enough. I love peanut butter. But I don't like the peanut profile in my whiskey. So, to each their own. This isn't really peanuts. This is more like... it's got like a peanut butter Nutella type of peanut butter chocolate vibe going on there. Again, wood, oak. The corn, kind of like a cracked corn. It's very like... what I'm getting from this, it's very like natural. Like, I don't know that's what they're going for always with whiskey. I mean, there's no to a bourbon you can't add any flavoring or coloring to it by law. So it's a natural product, but this just tastes like it's straight. This is a very earthy pour. But it's not earthy like dirt or like when I think earthy, I think like peat or grass or dirt, or, in good ways. This is like fresh wood, oak, charred oak. I get that peanut butter chocolate type of feeling in there as well. That was different. That's maple syrup. Heavy maple syrup on that one. Very spicy on the back. coats your mouth well, but it's all like a black pepper on the back here. This is basically like a chocolate peanut butter wood oak with black pepper sprinkled over the top. Like if you were to just take like a board and put if you were to take like a board and put peanut butter and Nutella on it, and then take black pepper out of like a normal shaker, just sprinkle it with black pepper, and then put some like a little bit of vanilla extract in there, like put cracked corn to a cheese grater so it's a little sprinkled on there. This is just, it's different. It's different. However, I will say I don't hate it. It's different in a good way. This definitely isn't as good as the tag-along batch in my eyes, but I don't, like, I'll reach for this now. Now that I've done it on the podcast, and I know I don't hate it, I'll reach for this in certain times. I'm just not a fan of, like, that overly woody note. There is a bit of a brittle peanut butter, as we've been saying. So it's just not my cup of tea for the most part. I mean, again, I don't hate it. It's just very, very... It's got a lot of darker notes, and not dark in a good way to me. It doesn't have... I don't get that nice, like, plum or raisin, or dark stoned fruits that I get on, like High West Midwinter Night's Dram, for example, to go back to High West. It's just it's a lot of just darker earthy notes mixed in with that peanut butter chocolate on the palate, but it's still like fresh wood shavings, oak, that earthiness, like if we were gonna lick a piece of wood. That was the weirdest taste and smell description I've ever given. But nonetheless, that's what I smell and that's what I taste. And I'm always going to be honest with you guys. What's it say on the card? See what it says on the card. It says, this batch has the matured amber color you've come to expect from our well-aged cask-strength Bookers Bourbon. You experience nice brown sugar and caramel aromas with a hint of charred oak when you lift a glass of this batch to your nose. And the sweet caramel character continues in the taste along with some bakery spice. It was a hot, humid day in Kentucky when I selected this batch, but the full-bodied taste will make it an ideal pour as the weather starts to turn crisp in the months ahead. With a clean, pleasant finish, this batch is as inviting as the town that it's named for. Welcome to Bookers Bardstown Batch. I don't get a hint. I do not get a hint of charred oak. I get a lot of charred oak, a lot of wood, a lot of just oak in general. But yeah, they kind of nailed it with it. I mean, it's not caramel. It's more peanutty than caramel, but they got it. They got it down pat. This is good. I mean, this isn't. I don't want to hate on this anymore. I'd probably take this over the Granny's batch, and from what I know now, I bought this for $79.99, and MSRP is probably around $90 if I had to guess. So a good price I got it for. This is a limited release, obviously, so you can't really find this anymore. It's not as good as any other barrel proof offering that I've had. Doesn't touch Elijah Craig, doesn't touch Larceny, doesn't touch Rare Breed, doesn't touch Stag. Like, it doesn't touch any of those really, really nice barrel proof bourbons, but it's good. It's a good offering. It's different. And it's definitely stands alone in what it's trying to do. I'm going to give this an 8.4. Solid pour. I'm glad I picked it up. If I saw it for $79.99, I'd probably pick it up again. But there's other whiskeys that I'm going to reach for above this. I think 8.4 is a solid score. It's definitely something that, like, if you find this for a good price, or even for MSRP, especially if you enjoy the tasting notes that I just said, then I'd recommend picking this up. But for me, if I saw I'd probably pick up a Rare Breed before I pick this up, if I'm being totally honest. And that's just that. So 8.4 Bookers Bardstown Batch 2021-03. And that's the review, and that's going to be the episode. A little bit shorter this week, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Make sure you're following on all social media platforms. Make sure wherever you're listening to this, make sure you're subscribed. Leave me a rating and review. Subscribe on YouTube. Leave a comment. All that good stuff. You know how it is. Next week, I am going to be preparing for my leave for Kentucky. I have an idea of what whiskey I want to do. Hint, I posted it on my story last week. Hint, you can probably see it behind me if you're watching the YouTube video. So I think next week we're going to do a banger, and it's going to be a rye banger. I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to do. So we'll do that next week. I'm not positive yet, but yeah, I hope everyone has a terrific Easter. Enjoy the day with your family. Hopefully it's nice outside. Hope everyone enjoys the rest of their week. I have Friday off, so I know I'm going to enjoy that. And I'm definitely going to use that time wisely. And by wisely, I mean probably just work on all the podcasts that I now have. So until next week, you guys, thank you for tuning in, and I'll talk to you next week. Cheers.